that operates primarily in Manitoba. We're off to Winnipeg. Gester Christensen is the CFO of Sangold. He joins us now. Good to have you with us, sir.
Hi, good to be here.
Tell me about the concerns here for you specifically as it relates to the economy. It seems that that's sort of secondary in your list of things that are concerning you today.
Well, certainly. I mean, as a resource, and especially specifically a gold company, a lot of the things that create instability in the greater economy are ones that sometimes affect positively the price of gold. But notwithstanding the fact that you look at, the changeover in the U.S. politics in France this year, Russia, China, a lot of instability. I think a lot of people focused on their own internal domestic problems, perhaps may reduce the will to create a solution on a global basis. What we're seeing in our planning process is this is creating volatility, this is creating unpredictability in the markets. So we've just come through our budgeting process and our planning process, and certainly one of the things that we left that process with is wanting to end the year with sort of more cash than we start the year with, such that we're able to harvest some of the increases in the price of gold, notwithstanding what's happened in the last couple of weeks, and not be sort of at the beck and call of equity markets that sometimes might not move in a logical or a predictable manner, with the price of gold. So I think our effect as a resource company is one that's sort of secondarily affected by the contagion that's gripping the world and the concerns with global debt.
Well, almost half of the C-suite did say that globally speaking, that the biggest challenge here is commodity volatility, jobs growth, things of that nature. But I can imagine for a gold company, though, that volatility creates uncertainty. That uncertainty drives investors to gold. Ultimately, doesn't that help you?
Well, certainly it helps us in our top-line revenues, but we're also, an index-listed company whereby we are affected by the volatility in the marketplace as well from a shareholder value perspective. So we can't look at it in isolation. Certainly, though, it creates a window of opportunity for us to harvest our resource. We feel good about the investment that has brought us to here and our own personal growth as a company. From a production point of view.
Now, as far as the resource sector, broadly speaking, it was the most bullish among all of the major sectors that we polled, but you are targeting 50% revenue growth for next year. Give us a sense as to what that means compared to if times were good and we didn't have this grease fire burning in the Eurozone.
Well, I think you have to look at it on balance. If you look at our 2010 to 2011, we had about 100% growth in our production, 45,000. We're on record as saying that we're targeting about 80,000 ounces in 2011. We're looking for about a 50% growth this coming year, up towards 100,000 ounces. But having said that, I mean, that's informed by my earlier comments, whereby we're not looking to have to go to markets where they're not where they're not responsive. So we're looking at doing our investments organically and our growth organically. I won't speculate on what that means in terms of, if we had the ability to grow faster. The reality is that, we're developing this. I think the timing is good for us as a company, in that I think that we are developing at a stage that's appropriate for the resource and for, the investments that we can make within the planning window.
As far as regulatory costs go, it looks like Western Canada is less concerned than Canada, broadly speaking, about the increase in regulatory costs. But you guys just moved from the venture exchange recently over to the big board, so I can imagine you've seen an increase in regulatory costs.
Well, certainly, certainly the timeliness and the level of reporting on a monthly and a quarterly basis is more onerous. We spent a lot of money and time this year evaluating our internal controls, documenting our internal controls. Sort of one of the mantra that we bring to the table in all of this stuff is to try and get some operational benefit out of these improvements. So we try and harvest the pieces that are going to give us better management information, things that we can look at that satisfy a regulatory requirement in terms of taking off the box, but ones that try and provide some other benefit. But yeah, from a cost point of view and a management time and attention point of view, it's very onerous on the accounting side of things. There's other regulatory exposures within the gold industry as well. There's, we view exploration, for example, as an early stage type of investment, something that survives business cycles, boom and bust. There's certainly an opportunity for some streamlining of the regulatory process there. Those dollars stay in the region. Those dollars facilitate future growth. So that's a soapbox that we often step up on.
Gester, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
Gester Christensen, the CFO of Sangold, joining us from Winnipeg.